Hello, scholars. This lesson is designed to help you understand the way that grading works in a GOA course. Our goal is to help you practice the kind of online skills that will really help you in the future. We want you to learn how to collaborate, how to curate good information from the internet, how to engage in discussions which are really fruitful and worthwhile, how to get things done on time, and how to feel empathy for people who come from backgrounds and cultures different from your own. Now, the way that we do that is we have rubrics, which I'm sure you've seen. The way that I've graded our past discussions is by going in and looking at what you have to say and then applying these GOA skills and philosophy skills that we hope you'll develop by the end of the course. Basically, this is all coming from Aristotle's virtue theory. Aristotle believed that virtue was not easy to acquire. He said that virtue is achieved through practice, through trial and error. You find a behavior that you find virtuous and you imitate it, and you do that over and over again until it becomes a habit. It becomes a part of your character. Now, this idea is a very powerful political idea. As a matter of fact, it was embraced by many of the founding fathers of our country. And to help you understand it, I thought I would illustrate our approach to grading by taking a look at the way Benjamin Franklin attempted to achieve perfection. Now, Franklin grew up in a lower middle class family. He had 12 siblings. He was the youngest. He became an apprentice to his older brother in Boston, who worked as a printer, but they didn't get along, so Franklin ran away. He landed in Philadelphia and worked as an assistant in a printing shop there, but he had big dreams. He wanted to own and run his own newspaper. To achieve that goal, Franklin resolved to improve his character, and the method that he was used was inspired by Aristotle's virtue theory, which had been rearticulated by the philosopher John Locke as the theory of the blank slate. In that conception of human nature, we are all a blank slate at the outset of our lives, and who we become is really dependent upon what we write on that blank slate. So, like a good scientist, Franklin set up an experiment. To achieve virtue, you must acquire good habits and extinguish bad ones. Virtue can be programmed through positive conditioning. That's not easy, though. As Aristotle taught, you had to have a long-term plan in order to change your habits. Well, here's how Franklin sought to improve his character. He says in his biography, "It was about this time I achieved the bold and arduous project of arriving at moral perfection. I wished to live without committing any fault at any time." His method was to treat himself as the subject of a laboratory experiment. He lists the behaviors he wants to program into his daily routine: temperance, silence, order, resolution, frugality, industry, sincerity, justice, moderation, cleanliness, tranquility, chastity, and humility. And then he set out to acquire each virtue one at a time, week by week. He says, "I contrived the following method for conducting that examination. I made a little book in which I allotted a page for each of the virtues. I ruled each page with red ink so as to have 7 columns, one for each day of the week, marking each column with a letter for the day. I crossed these columns with 13 red lines, marking the beginning of each line with the first letter of one of the virtues, on which line and in its proper column I might mark by a little black spot every fault I found upon examination to have been committed respecting that virtue upon that day." And you can see from this graphic, he set out to train himself to acquire each of these virtues. Now, he was not successful, obviously, in his attempt to achieve perfection. He talks about how he never achieved complete order in his life. He also admits that he never achieved humility either, only the appearance of humility, which I would add is a very useful skill. We won't even discuss why he put chastity second to the last on the list of virtues to be achieved. But Franklin did not beat himself up too much about any of the flaws in his plan. He said, "On the whole, though I never arrived at the perfection I had been so ambitious of obtaining, but fell far short of it, yet I was by the endeavor a better and happier man than I otherwise would have been if I had not attempted it." So on the following page, you guys are going to take a good look at the outcomes that we hope you'll come away with from this course and discuss methods that you can go about achieving them together.